love it. Good morning, everybody. Yogurt. And God, that's a great way to start a day, isn't it? Woo! Love blasting these roads. Which leads to the question, if I like riding canyons so much, why did I pick this big ass touring bike? Well, that's a good question. Let's answer it. Okay, let's see. Where do we start? Where do we start? I guess we'll put a little backstory on me. I have been riding motorcycles since I was between 2 and 3 years old. My dad had bought me a little Indian, I believe it was a 30 or a 50, I can't remember. I used to know the name of it, but I can't remember the name now. And so he put training wheels on it. We went across the street to the park, and that's where I started riding. I actually had a motorcycle before I had a bicycle. So I've been riding pretty much my whole life. Been riding dirt, most of it. We'll get into the history of my bikes. Ooh, that's a bumpy road. We'll get into the history of my bikes on a different episode. But I don't know, maybe about 7-8 years ago, I got rid of my last bike. Again, we'll get into that story on a different video. But during it was COVID. COVID came, screwed everything up. And I was sitting at home with my wife. And actually, we went out driving around, and there was a motorcycle at the intersection, and I was staring at it. And I was pretty depressed. COVID had me down. I couldn't work, couldn't do a lot of things. So my wife looks over at me and she goes, "You want another bike, don't you?" And I go, "Yes, I do." And she goes, "Start looking." So I knew I wanted a touring bike, a touring platform, because I wanted to take the wife, and I wanted to go out and see the country, do all the stuff that you do on a touring bike. And so that was the plan. But I kind of I had in the back of my head, I wanted something a little sporty, just from the history of the other bikes that I've had, and history of my riding and stuff. So I went out looking. I am not brand loyal to anything. I don't care what brand it is. I don't care what it is. If it has 2 wheels and a motor, I love it. I love it. Some of the best times on a motorcycle, or a 2-wheeled vehicle, if you must, I've ever had in my life was on a scooter when I was a kid, mobbing around town on a little Honda 50 Spree. The most fun I have ever had on a bike. So I love all motorcycles. I really do. I have no brand loyalty whatsoever. And I knew I wanted a touring platform. Well, I didn't even really think about Harley Davidson, to be honest with you. I was looking at the Goldwing, and I was looking at the BMW. And so I'm like, well, let's go ride those two. And I went and rode the BMW, fast as hell. Everything just refined, precision, all that stuff. You don't have to do anything to that bike. But you know what? It was vanilla. It rode, it didn't inspire any passion whatsoever. It was a nice motorcycle, but it didn't inspire much. So I went on to the Goldwing, rode the Goldwing. I like that a lot better, much better than the BMW. It felt smaller. It felt more nimble. You could throw that bike around really quick. The brakes are awesome. The lean angle's awesome. Again, you can do almost nothing to that bike, and it is ready for you to do whatever you want. Now remember, I had no idea about this performance bagger thing. I had no idea. I used to ride around an FXD back in '99, and that was my only history with Harley Davidson. So I went and rode the Goldwing, and I really liked it. I almost bought it. tell you the truth. I almost bought it, but someone was telling me not to. And I think it was for the same reason as the BMW. It just, it didn't grab me. It didn't grab my heart. And I think that is so important with a motorcycle. So anyhow, we were sitting at home, and I hear a Harley Davidson coming down the street. I walk out there and I see this guy on a street glide, blacked out little street glide, special, roll by. Nothing, it was nothing special. It wasn't customed out or anything. Actually, if I remember right, it was pretty much stock. And I went, damn, that's a pretty bike. That is a pretty bike. And my wife said, let's go to the Harley Davidson dealer. Let's go check one out. So we went there. And I looked at the street glides because that's what I saw and I thought was pretty. And then, literally, up on the turntable was this bike. A 2020 Road Glide Limited. It was all set up for touring. It had everything I wanted. And the girl goes, would you like to take it for a ride? And I said, absolutely, let's go. Took it for a ride. I don't think I got a block away from the dealership. And my smile was from ear to ear. The bike did not handle great, not compared to the other two. The bike did not stop good compared to the other two. Everything about this bike was way less than the other two. But that didn't matter. This bike made me smile so big. I was happy. My heart was full. I had excitement. I felt like that kid that got a new bicycle on Christmas. And you gotta remember, I knew nothing of performance bagger stuff. I didn't even know that exist. So I got back from that test ride. My wife goes, what do you think? And I said, we're buying it. And that's the history of buying this bike. Now, I started thinking about why would I buy this bike? Because people give me crap, other cyclists, especially BMW owners. Why would you buy an inferior motorcycle and have to put all that money into a bike to make it, in their words, almost as good as one of these other bikes that come stock? If you know me, I love customization. I love it. I build cars, I've built rock crawlers, I've built so many different custom vehicles in my life, and I love putting my spin on something. And with Harley Davidson, it's infinite. There is so much aftermarket support for Harley Davidson. It's ridiculous. Go try to find a ton of aftermarket support for the Goldwing. There is some, and there are companies that are coming out with them. But you go try to find a whole new suspension. You go try to find new fenders, new anything to make it, new bars. Go try to put a set of these bars on a Goldwing or a BMW. It's impossible. I'm not saying, actually I'm not going to say it's impossible, because there's probably some guy out there building them in his garage and selling them that I don't know about. But what I mean is, the Harley, you can make it whatever you want. So why do I ride it fast? Why don't I just get a sport bike? There's an old saying, it's always going to be fun riding or driving something the way it is not supposed to be ridden or driven. Off-road. I'll tell you right now, it is. You're gonna have more fun taking some old Honda Accord and beat the hell out of that outside on a dirt road than you ever will a full-blown race truck. And that's why I like doing this. This big bike should not be doing what I do with it. It should not be taking those corners the way it does. This bike impresses me so much. It blows my mind almost every single day. This touring frame, people are going to say the FXR, but this touring frame is the best frame Harley Davidson's ever made, in my opinion. by far. By far. I think it's better than the FXR frame. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that one, but in my opinion, the touring frame it's the best frame out there. It's the best frame they make. This bike is so impressive. It is amazing that you can take a 900 plus pound bike and just wring it out and just lay it into a corner, and it just sits. This bike does not move at all, and you're just on it. You got the sound of that V-twin just rubbing the shit out of it, and it's just telling you, it's giving you everything it's got, and this bike just sits in a corner. And just look at it. I mean, we're doing 80. The bike just does everything I want it to do. Plus, it allows me and my wife to go on trips. So here I am. I can bomb around a canyon, or I can just sit there and cruise all day long for 700-800 miles with my wife. That's why I chose this bike. That's why this bike is perfect. I've had so many motorcycles in my life, and not one of them have I had as much fun, except for that little 50 Spree. But that was when I was a kid. This is different. As an adult, I've never had more fun on a motorcycle than I've had on this Road Glide. And that's the damn truth right there. I love this bike. It has nothing to do with it being a Harley Davidson. It has nothing to do with any of the Harley Davidson culture. It has nothing to do with any of that stuff. What it has to do is it touches my soul. It touches my heart. It just, this bike is everything, and I love it. And I love it, love it, love it. I will never, ever sell this bike. Never sell this bike. No way. I will get other bikes, absolutely, but I will have this bike till I die. 100%. And that's why I chose the Harley Davidson Road Glide. I didn't even know I wanted this bike until I got it, and I'm so glad I bought it, because I can tell you right now, even though that Goldwing was amazing, it was an amazing machine. It really was. And to deny that, you're being a fool. The Goldwing is amazing. But if your motorcycle doesn't touch you and you don't connect with that motorcycle, in my opinion, you're never going to have the full experience. Never. So, anyhow, that's my reason why I became a performance Road Glide boy. So, you either agree or you don't, but that's my reason for it, and I'm so happy I made the decision. I'm so happy. I will pour money into this thing, it doesn't matter one bit. But that's just me. That's what I like to do. So anyhow, I want to thank everybody for riding with Yogurt. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.